Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Finally today, I want to just talk about the climate we're all living in. People ask me continually, Alex, are you for real? Do you really get this excited? How do you do it without drugs? Why do you have so much energy? And the answer is, I'm passionate. Now, I do tend to sometimes let myself get impassioned because I genuinely feel that way, but I, as I've described it, let the dog off the leash and blow up on air or engage in one of the rants that are so popular. For what reason, I'm not sure sometimes. But I guess in a nation of people that are unconscious and basically suffering from a form of zombiosis, it's effective, so we can't argue with it. But lately, I've been so excited that even though I'm sitting here at a desk with a list of notes in front of me, and I've eloquently thought all this out in my mind, I quite frankly cannot help but start hyperventilating when I try to talk about just how huge and positive these developments are. It is such a big deal that after 50 years of the global government project being built in stealth and the elites denying it, that patriots like Red Beckman, 50-something years ago, and Ronald Reagan, for that matter, and people like Barry Goldwater, that fought so hard to expose what was going on and to speak out and got laughed at and got bullied and got demonized by the mainstream media, back when there was basically no broadcast media, radio or TV, to challenge them, only underground newsletters and books. So imagine the nightly news back then had like 20 million viewers per channel. So you're talking about 20, 50, 60, 100 million people watching mainstream news and lies every night versus Barry Goldwater writing a couple books. I mean, it was really, really, really hard to counter them. But by the mid-1970s, there were books out there like None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, whose son now runs Politico. What a disgrace how he's turned his back on America, but that's a side issue, that sold over 10 million copies. Some say it's like 20 million now, but it was confirmed 10 million back in the 70s. And just the fact that, sure, they had 5, 6, 7 times the viewers every night of what that one book did in a few years. But because the truth was so strong and exposed the entire blueprint of the operation, that book is what they call evergreen and has sent shockwaves, ripples throughout the pond that are now devastating the New World Order. And now think about what the globalists have to face, where we have tens of millions of visitors to Infowars every day, when we have tens of millions of people that tune in conservatively every week, tens of millions that watch us on YouTube every week alone. Again, that's not bragging. That's telling you the success we've all had together. And now global government is collapsing. They're having to admit it's global government. See, I'm getting chills right now. They're having to admit the communist Chinese are at the heart of it and that a deal was made with them in the 70s to take over the planet. And they're having to lecture us and threaten us. And it's in the news that, oh my gosh, Hollywood's scared that Trump won't let the communist Chinese buy all 6 controlling interests in the production companies. Of course you shouldn't do that. China won't even let most of our films into China. Now we're going to let our media be controlled by them? And Hollywood's so traitorous and so treacherous and has already been an enemy of this country. It's already been working for the globalists for so long. Part of me just says, fine, be communist Chinese run. You'll make yourselves only that much more illegitimate and no one will listen to you. In fact, I want to tell Trump, it's a free market. Let the foreign communist dirtbag state come in and take over Hollywood, fine. But don't let them sit there in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, as they've done the last few months, and lecture us how, quote, fake populist news has to be shut down. Coming from mass murderers, the biggest in history, what a sick joke. You go right to hell, you dirty commies. You want to come buy filthy anti-American Hollywood up? Good. It's perfect for you. You take that disease onto yourself. Oh, but that's the thing. They won't let all the anti-family, pro-homosexual stuff in Hollywood propaganda into China. Look it up. They execute gays in China. So see, they see Hollywood as so toxic, the communist Chinese won't even let their garbage into their country. So in a way, Hollywood's so bad, maybe the biggest mass murderers in history will reform you. That's how sick you are. See, when you really try to look at all the angles of this, it just makes your head spin, doesn't it? The point is, that's how discredited and collapsing and failing LA is that now its savior is the demonic communist Chinese. So again, why do I get so excited? Why do I start hyperventilating? Because we're having devastating victories coming a lot quicker than I even thought they would. This is such a beautiful time to be alive. But then I want to use one case point example, then I'm going to leave the end of this to David Knight. He's done such a great job today. Okay? You've got this Congressman Lewis that came out. And his claim to fame was in Selma, Alabama in 1960-something, a state trooper split his head open. And so when he attacks Trump and says Trump is illegitimate and shouldn't be president and is a Russian spy, I mean, those are fighting words. People magazine, CNN, all of them came out with the headline, Trump attacks civil rights icon. And you go read, you think he put on a KKK hat and went and burned down a church. And in these articles, you got to read down to the middle of them to even find out that this guy attacks Trump, goes on these TV shows and says that he's basically a Russian agent with no proof. I mean, you tell me that to my face, I'm going to get really angry. I mean, those are fighting words, folks. I'm sick of this crap. He literally slaps Trump upside the head with a metal gauntlet. Trump politely says, I need your help trying to get jobs to black communities. Will you please stop it? I want to work with you. That is super high road. And then the media transmutes it into the lie that he hates a guy because he's black. Well, let me tell that guy something. Let me pull the article up right here. I'm going to pull it up right now. Again, I'm on the road. It takes a while to pull these up. Here it is. People magazine. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a worse headline than I said. It's always worse than I say. Cowardly Donald Trump faces backlash for attacking legendary civil rights leader John Lewis. I looked into John Lewis. You know who John Lewis is bought and paid for? Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the same crews as usual that want to turn us all into a bunch of poor renters. He's anti-gun, but he supports all of Obama's wars. The guy is a dirtbag. Let me tell you something. The fact that you got your head split, hijacking a civil rights movement that Martin Luther King started, and try to turn yourself into some type of hero is a joke. Doesn't cover for your warmongering, doesn't cover for your turning your people into a bunch of debt slaves that live on a government plantation. It doesn't cover for the fact that you're a limousine liberal, disgusting, race-baiting pimp. But it gets worse, doesn't it? It gets worse. John Lewis. You go along with the media and you cowardly attack someone, and now Lewis has been back in the news attacking Trump for responding back to him. Since when in which world does somebody call you a foreign agent and then you're not allowed to even respond back to him? You know, let me tell you something. I was, for no reason, body slammed by a state wrestling champion who happened to be black when I was 15 years old, and it created a subdermal hematoma and put me in the hospital and split my head open with a 7-inch huge gash with blood spraying everywhere. Do they put me on the news and say he was attacked by a racist black man? Imagine if 50 years later I was walking around going, no one can criticize me. A black person split my head open. A black person split my head open. I mean, this is such a... Oh, you know what? I've had black people split open both my eyebrows. Of course, I've also fought white guys and Hispanics. I grew up in Dallas. It was rough. But the point is, since when do you run around? I've had the police ram my head. When I got arrested in Austin, it wasn't the police, it was a jail guard, into the wall and put a huge bruise on me. It's a little redheaded jail guard. I mean, do I run around saying the whites are all racist because that happened? This is the craziest crap. Since when did this guy die and go to heaven as this invincible person no one can criticize because the state police hit him in the head with a baton in 1960, whatever it is? I mean, this is crazy. And I'm so sick of it. This traitorous dinosaur is criticizing our populist champion, Trump, and making up crap about him, and then won't even take criticism back. That makes me want to throw up. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. I think Trump wasn't hard enough on you, scumbag. You're nothing but a race pimp who's destroyed his own people. Why don't you say something about how half the black people are aborted? Oh, I know. You wouldn't get that Margaret Sanger money anymore, would you? You're nothing but a vampire feeding on your own people, and you make me sick. And you should join Trump trying to bring jobs and factories into black areas, scumbag. Now back to David Knight, the conclusion of this worldwide transmission. No matter what they do, the giant's rising. No matter what they do, they're not going to stop the signal of human liberty, empowering all. I don't care what color you are. The sleeping giant is rising.
In case you haven't heard, Infowars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. Infowars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the Infowars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. Infowars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the Infowars store that are only available for Infowars Prime subscribers. That's Infowars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.